Alright guys, what's up? This is the first full workout video that I'll be throwing up on the channel. Won't be the last, there will be more to come, but this is, I picked this day because it's my favorite right now. I got squat and bench, just a strength day. Working those front squats, really good for the core, really explosive, athletic movement for your legs, so I've been taking a little break from back squats. But yeah, working the rep range, 3 sets of 3 on both, 2 sets of 2, up in the weight with the reps dropping down. And then I'll have my last box supersetted, RDLs with the plyo push-ups. I wrote that down wrong. The RDLs actually go first and then the plyo push-ups. But y'all will get to see most of my sets, get to see what they all look like. So hope you enjoy. All right, so here's my first warm-up set, 135. You can see on the screen right there, making sure I get low and then drive out of that hole as aggressive as I can. I like to start out with 135 on the bar, get at least 3 warm-up sets in order to adjust to the weight and get that movement pattern down, just get a feel for it. You definitely don't want to start out at your working sets because that's just going to be a disaster. You want to get adjusted. So, and then after the 135, I like to jump up to 185. Just kind of, it depends on what you're working up to, with what like weight you want to use. Just depends on that first working set. Here I went from 135 to 185 and then 245 for my last warm-up set. Got a quick easy 3 in before I hit my first set at 275, which you'll see here in a second. Make sure you're staying super tight in your core and in your back. You want to make sure that those elbows stay pointed straight forward on each rep. On your way up where they're going to try to come down, your core is going to try to give out, but you got to stay tight. Maybe even have to drop the weight down if you're struggling with that. This is my first and second working sets. I started out with 275. Didn't record the second one. Didn't feel the need to. It's 3 reps on both of those. Here's my third working set. Went up to 285. It's my third set of 3 before I drop down to my sets of 2. You can see me powering through, just being as aggressive as I can on the way up, trying to really get the most out of every rep. Then I finished strong on that last set of 3 reps. All right, and then here on my fourth working set, up the weight to 305 because I was just going for 2 reps. This is building blocks, so these they weren't too hard. They're just building blocks so I can build onto it for next week. As you can see, I'm still powering through as hard as I can, making sure I get deep enough, really squeezing that core, staying tight. Because if you let your core out and you don't keep that tension there, then that's when you get hurt. That's when you get lower back pains on these front squats. You want to make sure those elbows are still pointing forward, as you can see here. Driving up real aggressive. That was my last working set. Here you can see us. This is me and my brother. He worked out with me this day. We're warming up on bench. I just did a little fast forward through here because there's no need to stop and see every single warm-up set. We started at 135, then I went up to 185, then did a warm-up set at 225, and then my final warm-up set, you'll see 245. I just threw that up for 1 because my first working set was going to be 250, which you can see here. My first 2 were 250, both sets of 3. Working at that rep range for this day right now, and then I'll progress through as my weeks go on. But you can see I lower it and just explode up as hard as I can. Every rep, I try to get the most out of it by pushing up as hard as I can, being as aggressive as I can with it. I didn't record, again, my second working set just because it's the same exact thing as the first one. But you see here, this is my third working set on bench, another set of 3, but I upped it to 255 from the previous 250. But still, same thing, got that tight back, driving that back into the bench. What I really try to focus on is just driving that back into the bench and away from the bar. So you're pushing them against each other, and that's just going to help you get a little extra explosion, a little extra power under your bench, and makes for a stronger bench. All right, now moving on to the fourth working set. We're down to our sets of 2, so we'll have 2 sets of 2. I did both sets of 2 at 265. Probably could have went up to 270, but building blocks. This is week 1 of this program, so it'll give me room to improve for next week. Driving that up. My elbows flare a little bit here. You don't want that. You want to keep your elbows tucked. That just shows that my triceps are a little weaker than my chest is, and so my elbows like to flare and use some of my shoulders in the movement. You want to keep those elbows tucked. That's just something I got to work on. Got to get stronger triceps in order for that. But yeah, you see me driving my back into that bench every time, trying to stay super tight, squeeze those glutes, drive that weight up. And then this is my last set. Got that 2. 275 or 265 for the 2 sets of 2. And then right here is where you're going to see the RDLs and the plyo push-ups. I wrote it down wrong. It's actually RDLs first and the plyo push-ups second, because I want to hit my legs first. And this is a superset. So I got my 4 sets of 5, doing 275 here on these RDLs, really pushing that butt back and then squeezing those glutes forward, just trying to be aggressive every single time. And then I drop the weight, move it out of the way, and then go straight into the plyo push-ups, where you're just trying to be explosive, trying to get that power in that movement, trying to get that little bit left out of your chest, being super aggressive, super explosive on it. I just recorded my first 2 sets because there was 4 sets of the 5 on each. There was no need for me to record every set on this. It's the same thing. I just got another angle, really pushing that butt back, really exploding those hips forward, squeezing those glutes every rep. This is just trying to get that posterior chain, working those hamstrings a little more, getting the most out of that. And then back to the power push-ups, where I'm just trying to be explosive. I clap here. You don't have to. It's just a little thing to make sure you're really getting off the ground, being super explosive with each rep.